Collecting is a lot of fun to do, revisiting old school games or just starting hoarding and having all kinds of different collection in your game for different platforms. But fake games can be a problem. Where I do have a variation of different kind of games is simply to do because I do love playing games and I need a lot of them for my reviews. So when it comes to fake ones, let's talk about the disc ones. This is not going to be a problem, where I have seen custom games here and there, so when it comes to, let's say, copy or basically like fake games, those are very easy recognizable, and so this is not a problem. The problem lays basically when it comes to cartridge-based games. You can buy them from, let's say, different websites. However, sometimes you will find them in collections and you will not spot them instantly. But as a big fan of cartridge collecting, yeah, the question remains, is this going to be a problem in the future? Because I already had a couple of examples, heard from other collectors, but also had an experience myself where we just fell for the trick, thinking I'm buying an original game, but realizing later that it was a fake one. And when it comes to buying games for like full price, that is going to be absolutely, let's say, one of the problems. However, what you can just actually see over here, we're having all kinds of different games. So yeah, if you're looking at them at first glance, you would not say that we're having a fake one in the collection over here. But I can tell you that the GoldenEye 007 is a fake one. I've bought it, I knew that it was a fake. However, I just bought it actually to check it out, but also to compare them with the original game. But let's do a side-by-side comparison when it comes to the GoldenEye game. Both of them are original, where this has been completely decolorized and the colors are just faded out. This is just absolutely a shame, but it actually happens with older games. So let's do a quick comparison with the fake one. And you can see that at this point we do have three different kind of colors. If you look at three games, you can just see we're having three different kind of, let's say, colors. So we're not going to be comparing it with this particular game because this is just absolutely in Captain Obvious mode. Hey, you can just see which one is the fake or not. However, I'm going to be comparing both of the cartridges. You can just see how it is different. Not only the logos they messed up, because both of them are actually European cartridges with the same kind of numbers. The first giveaway will be the font over here. You can just actually see that the font on the original is completely different. Putting them side by side, now I notice that some of the things are completely different. Think about the logo. The logo is in different side, but also in a completely different position. Where they did put the Nintendo logo in the middle on the right position, you can see there are some minor differences. This has the teen for the ESRB. It's kind of weird that they're saying the teen over here because it's the European version. So this shouldn't be on here at all. I think they were using this on the US cartridges. However, when you're looking at them, also the color of Mr. Pierce Brosnan, you can just see that this right guy over here had a lot of sun time. Nevertheless, and I mean not like the faded out one, but the other one. So overall, like when you're looking at both of the cartridges, this is just absolutely a giveaway that this thing is fake. But if you still don't know for sure, because when you're going to be putting this particular game in a collection, you don't really notice it 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there's another giveaway what you can actually look at, and that is actually the back sticker and the back Nintendo logo. But now having a fake and original game and looking at both of the stickers at the back, they are just so different from each other. And yeah, this is one of those things you can recognize. For example, when you're looking at, let's say, the fake over here, you can see that's a very glossy sticker. And the original one have more like a matte finish. Besides that, also the text on the back is completely different. But you know, if you're having this particular game and you're grabbing not the GoldenEye, but you say we have different kind of games in the collection, yeah, you can just see and spot instantly that this is a fake game because all of the labels are the same kind of color. So I think one of the giveaways can be the back label. Next up, we're having the logo of Nintendo itself, and it's clear to see that the fake one at the right with a different label has just a completely different look. You can see that it's similar, like embedded into the cartridges, but they're just the way how it is, the way how the details, everything is completely different. So this is absolutely, I think, the best giveaway to see that this is just a fake game. But if you wonder, does the cartridge itself work? When it comes to the fake one, yep, it seems to be working like a charm. Where there are no save files at the moment, I do know that some of the cartridges can actually save when it comes to that. But no problem whatsoever, you can just boot up the game and play it as it was an original game. So where all of the games most of the time will work just fine, I do wonder, it's like, how will it be over, like say 10 years? Will these cartridges hold up? Because when you're looking at the original cartridges, they're already quite old. But I didn't notice any problems when it comes to playing the game. Not at all. Man, I love the soundtrack. But this can be becoming a curse or a big problem if you're buying a big collection from a picture and you don't know exactly if this is going to be an original game. So where this GoldenEye game is a cheap game, so you know, I bought it for not a lot of money from a fellow collector just to make a video about it. I just wanted to showcase particularly this Snowboard Kids 2 because the guy got scammed because he bought like a big lot and this was one of the hidden gems he really wanted to have for his collection, getting this fake one. But let's open it up because when it comes to opening up, also here of course we're finding completely, let's say, different PCBs in the inside. But if you want to have a toolkit like me, you can pick them up from AliExpress fairly cheap, and this is a great investment simply if you're going to be like collecting and you want to make sure the games are original and you have like some doubts about it, maybe they're getting even better and better. Okay, so we're not going to be opening Snowboard Kids. It does have like a very nice way to it. Let's open up the GoldenEye. Let's see where the other cartridge is. You know, it doesn't even matter. So let's grab myself the original one and the fake one. Okay. Alright, let's click it in and let's open it up because I'm very curious. Man, even the screwdriver doesn't even fit right. You know, even the screws that they are using is not perfect for the original one, so my tool doesn't fit in perfect. Oh man, this is really bad. But let's open it up and let's see what we're finding in the inside, because I am also very curious. Okay, I need to be very careful that I'm not going to be breaking anything, because we need to be careful with these things. So what is kind of funny, if you're having the original one over here, these things are so much easier to open up. Here you can just see how easy the screws come out. And also when it comes to, let's say, opening it up, you can just click it open fairly easy. There's one on other giveaway. And the metal shielding is over here. And I do have like a lot of problem trying to click this out. There we go. So the first giveaway is already like they didn't even use any screws to put everything in place. Or maybe the previous owner did not put them back, but I highly doubt that. So let's open it up. We don't actually need to like remove everything. So we're going to be using a screwdriver for opening this part up. But this is actually the PCB, and the way how everything looks, you can already see, before even doing any comparison, you see how ugly everything, like the glue, and you know, it's absolutely like to cry for. So this is Nintendo quality. Look at the PCB, how clean everything is and how it actually is going to be looking, comparing this with the fake one over here. The PCB size is, yeah, it's the same. So that's not any, let's say, complaint about that. So also the pin connector, I do wonder what kind of materials they're using. You can see they're having like these goldish like pin connectors and don't have the same thing going on. So maybe this can be a giveaway too. But there are clearly differences between the quality of the games. That is a fact. So the question remains, how is this Snowboard Kids 2 version? Let's open it up and let's see. So first thing I noticed that the screws are fitting so much better in my tool itself. So that is a noticeable difference. So let's open it up and let's see how that fits, and or other words, like how does it click together. Also here I do have this problem that it doesn't want to open it up. So the other problem I also noticed with, let's say, the previous cartridge. Was that's kind of weird that they are using a big, like massive EO shield. But when it comes to the, let's say, PCB itself, we can see they're having the same kind of low quality. A lot of glue on the chips itself, and also the Ultra Max 2. But the quality itself, it's absolutely different. Where we do have like a huge EO shield, it's kind of weird. But okay, it can be a massive curse if you picked up a lot or a collection or a single game and it seems to be a fake one and the seller didn't told you. That's a little bit on the downside, because people is going to be scamming you for a lot of money. But it can also be a blessing at the same time. What do we mean with this? The first thing is, if you want to play this game and you want to have a physical cartridge, this would be a very cheap way actually to play this game. where a fake game can be a curse and a problem, you also have like fake custom games. And they are pretty cool, like this Dragon Ball card. This thing has never been released. You have different kind of form factors, not even logo on here. They didn't even put that effort in. So it's also a very low quality print. And I know there are different cartridge colors out there, like having this red version over here that looks absolutely amazing. And we also going to be needing an expansion pack. It's just a quick skin of the Mario Kart 64. What I understand of the game is exactly the same. The biggest difference is going to be the characters of Dragon Ball with new voices. But one thing you need to take consideration when having these custom games, that they're using sometimes even older, let's say customized ROM sets. So we're having different kind of actually players. We have a very cool, let's say completely reskin of all kinds of, let's say, characters. But the main tracks are, so far I have seen, exactly the same. I also don't know if this is going to be a project they're still working on and trying to give this thing a completely overhaul and make it not like a cheap skin, let's say, game. The idea itself, I love it, and this is one of the things I love to see more often with custom games that can be played on original systems. But also I felt for exactly the problem I'm warning you for now. I've bought like a small collection and I paid maybe like $20, so the deal itself was pretty good. So I didn't lose a lot of money on it. Bought a Game Boy, Tetris, Mario games and you name it. But there was one particular game I really was excited for. And that is exactly this title over here, The Tailgater. And after looking around, this game seems to be quite expensive because it's a rare one. I've been playing this on my 55-in-1 for a very long time. I had like the Japanese ROM on this multi-game card, so I was excited to have the game in PAL for my own collection. However, somebody already pointed out to me saying, hey, you should double check it. And when you're going to be putting it side by side, here we can actually see like the cartridge is so much different. And I was quite disappointed. Where I can still play this game, you can just see while opening it up that this thing has a completely different PCB in the inside. And actually playing the game, this works perfectly. However, I do wonder, like, when did they actually make this particular fake one? Was it already going on when it comes to, let's say, fake ones from China? Don't mind my Game Boy, all of my lines and the screen are just crazy. But I just wanted to showcase the game. So I can still enjoy it and just have myself some fun with this game. However, in the future I will pick up one that will be original. But for now, I can actually play it. But always be careful when you're getting yourself a game, or for the Game Boy, particularly when it comes to the Pokemon games, because oh man, those fake ones are getting better and better every single day. But when you're going to be looking into fake games, this is not something that is just from the last 5 years. Fake games have been around for a very long time. I think a couple of years ago I picked up another collection, finding this obscure Donkey Kong Country. And it's just obvious that this is a fake game. You can just look at the label itself, how ugly and stretched it is. So not only that, it doesn't even have any logos. And Super NES cartridges are everywhere nowadays. However, I just wanted to showcase over here that what kind of silly kind of products they made. So shall we open it up and maybe look around? Nah, just leave it as it is. Because I think this thing cannot even be opened. Oh, yeah, it can. So now we're just doing it. Let's open it up. And let's be very careful that we're not going to be destroying this thing. But you know, fake ones, so they were everywhere, even back in the days. So what is kind of interesting, that just the chips they're using. What the heck is going on? A chip with a horse on it. Never seen that before. It comes with a built-in battery, so I'm guessing this particular one is going to be need replaced because these things are super old now. But yeah, the PCBs on the fake ones are just going to be completely different. Let's see if I can open up this cartridge itself to give you an example like how the Super NES cartridges look. And you always need to be careful, particularly when it comes to more like the very expensive games. And the same story also applies if you're going to be buying, let's say, in-game cartridge. Always double check. So the strange thing is, like, what I find quite interesting is that this thing does have some extra pins. So okay, and you can just actually see there is a capacitor, and you can just have a side-by-side comparison where all this thing has like black blobs. This is just one massive PCB with some massive chips on there. Another thing I picked up some time ago is Wolfenstein 3D for the Atari Jaguar. And what is kind of interesting that we also can find like fake boxes. So I think the game is original when you're going to be comparing them with the original cartridge. I don't see any weird thing going on, so I'm guessing the game itself is original. You can see like the logo and everything else. We do see that there is a different PCB, so that is maybe one of those giveaways. But let's give this the benefit of the doubt, but you can see with the box that this is completely fake. And I mean, in particular, when you're looking at the quality of both boxes, the Syndicate is an original game and the Wolfenstein 3D is more like this glossy box. There are replacement box out there, and some people you don't need to even buy it from AliExpress. There are all kinds of different companies making replica, let's say, games when it comes to that. So if you just want a certain box, that can maybe a cheap way to get a replacement. And some of the qualities are maybe even better than the original one, and not like this particular one, this glossy thingy. A platform where you would not expect any, let's say, upgrades is the Sega 32X. So fake games for the Sega 32X, they're out there, I can tell you that. There is even a company making, let's say, fake games for the Sega 32X. But this is one of those, let's say, very cool things that we're having Doom Resurrection. That is an improvement of the original Doom. I want to make a separate video about it on my Sega 32X. But when it comes to the overall quality, it's debatable. Where the case itself looks kind of nice, but you can see already one of the piece of plastic already get loose because the quality is not the same. They are using the original cartridge over here of the Sega Genesis, but it is a very nice quality, or when it at least comes to the PCB. But later on we're going to be doing a separate, let's say, teardown and a full review about it. So when you're looking at it, and this is one of those cool things what I love about these, let's say, custom fake games where we don't maybe for collectible reasons. This can be something that is going to be having massive value, but this can be a lot of fun playing the game on your Sega 32X. So, and then we're having a lot of, let's say, other fake ones. These are the cheap fake ones from AliExpress. We're having Mortal Kombat 2, a custom game, unlimited, with the very cheap shell with no screws in it. And this is just a general problem. We're having like all kinds of random qualities, but we do have a lot of cool, let's say, games. For example, having Shredder's Revenge, and we're having like a higher quality The Punisher with Street of Rage 2. Yeah, there are a lot of cool games out there, and I can tell you it is absolutely blessed playing these games, or custom games like Plants vs Zombies or in Metal Sonic Rebooted. So in the end, there are like a lot of cool custom games to play on your Sega Genesis console. I am such a huge fan of the Street of Rage 2 series, and it's absolutely cool to see that we're having all kinds of different characters that can be playable in the game. However, some of these cartridges feels like they're using this simple ROM hack, and you can just have a single minor difference, particularly when it comes to the characters. Or just have one single character that has been changed and just slapping it as a new game. We cannot change between the original characters, so we're just getting, let's say, this weird, let's say, very low quality animated character in the game. But some cartridges have the weirdest characters like an Arnie, Frank, Nick, or a Bruce Lee. It's absolutely nuts to see how many of those like clone games are out there, or hacked games, and some even have like a completely different like character selection screen that looks so much better. Particularly when it comes to, let's say, the Street of Rage games, there are so many of those basic cheap clone things out there that are not a lot of fun. But however, there are some couple of hidden gems out there. A great example is this Punisher version that also contains different characters, and they don't feel like a cheap skin knockoff. Where the game itself is still the same, it's a lot of fun to play with 4 different crazy characters. But we also have next level, let's say, overall gameplay when it comes to Mortal Kombat Trilogy. This is a full game with more characters than ever. Absolutely awesome that they ported this to the Sega Genesis. Mine did loosen screws somehow, so that also tells a lot about the overall quality. But the PCB is a very expensive one to buy. This is around like $30 whatsoever. But this is one of those very cool things you can actually do. Okay, so another cool thing I picked up, and there was some convention who was selling this, and this is an example how of unpleasant it can actually be. I mean, look at how the quality of the box is. I did a full review about this already, and this is absolutely a superb, let's say, quality, how, let's say, custom games or fake custom games can also be. Having a beautiful cartridge, I understand there were like different colors, like a beautiful label that almost looks identical to the original one, but this is not like for trying to sell fake games. This is just to make something custom. And how cool is it? Like, we're living in an amazing time where we're having like really old systems that still has new games, or at least a new, yeah, let's be honest, it's not actually a new game, it's the same game but with completely different new characters to play with. But if you're looking at, let's say, the flash cards nowadays, they can replace all of your games, original or custom, because you can actually like load up the custom games through, let's say, a flash card like this Super 64 Pro or a Grid's EverDrive. We're having like the ones for your Game Gear, the NES, the Sega Genesis, and also even an Atari Jaguar have now a flash card. So it's a little bit less fun because we can not really collect, we can just actually plug it in, add the files and just play those custom games on here. But in the end, you need to be careful when you're going to be getting into collecting, particularly when it comes to the cartridges. Yeah, we have seen some obvious ones that are like fake and you can just spot them from a mile distance. However, when you're looking at, let's say, some other ones, it's going to be slightly difficult. And particularly when you're going to be in a rush or you're just buying a full collection and the seller didn't point it out. However, some cheap games I think is not going to be an issue. But if you're going to be spending a lot of money on, let's say, a collection due of the reason of a particular game you want, and it seems to be fake, that some of my fellow collectors had in the past, you're going to be very disappointed. Thank you all for watching. Let me know in the comments, did you ever had this problem when it comes to fake games? And yeah, subscribe, hit the little bell, and it would be great to see you in the next video.